Hi, welcome to Empty Nest Creations. Today's project is going to be an Easter centerpiece. This project is made from some leftover items from other projects, as well as items purchased through Hobby Lobby and the Dollar Tree. The cross was purchased at Hobby Lobby, and all the flowers were purchased at the Dollar Tree. So in total, this probably cost about $10. The leaves are leftovers from other projects. Anytime that I buy a flower bush and use the flowers and may not use all the leaves, I always cut the leaves off and save those for other projects like this one. So this is super simple. I am not a florist. I'm not a professional floral designer, but I do enjoy putting together flower arrangements for our house. And I love sharing how I do these and put them together. So if you're interested, please stick around. We'll go over the supplies and then we'll get started putting everything together. Okay, so the supplies that we'll need for this project, you're going to need some sort of dish to hold your styrofoam. And this is just actually a ashtray that I picked up at a flea market for like 25 cents. But it's the perfect size to hold our styrofoam. And I actually have two of these styrofoam circles. They came in a pack of 2 from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to glue these together to give our arrangement some height. You'll need some scissors and maybe some wire cutters to cut your flowers. I'm going to use a Sharpie marker to mark where our figurine is going to go in the center so that I make sure that I don't cover that space up. You'll need some leaves. And you can certainly buy a bunch of leaves. These are a fern that came from the Dollar Tree. And you could certainly buy something like this or just some greenery. Use ivy or whatever. But when I do projects and use flowers, any leaves that I don't use in the project, I save them in this basket. And that way that I can use them in future projects. So I have these leaves in here, and we're going to use these for our project. I also have some flowers that we're going to use in this arrangement. It's going to have all white flowers, and these all came from the Dollar Tree. So I have this set of white roses, and we'll use a couple of those. I have one of the hyacinth that we're going to use, and these will just be a little bit of an accent flower. I have 2 of these Alstromerias, and they're white, but they have a little bit of yellow and some brown on them, and those will be in the front of our arrangement. And then these are really the star of the arrangement, these delphiniums, and I'm going to cut these down so that some are taller and shorter than others. And we're just going to use 3 of these in our arrangement. And then you'll need a figurine, and you can use any figurine that you like. I'm going to be using a cross because I just really think that Easter is really all about Jesus dying on the cross for us. And so this is going to be the center of my arrangement. And this is a little short, so I'm going to actually add one of these stems. I just cut off some leaves and flowers from this one. But I'm going to attach it to the back so that it'll stand up a little bit higher in our arrangement. And the greenery and everything will cover up the stem. But I really want the cross to be the centerpiece. And so I've added some floral wire. I don't know if you can see that. I've added some little pieces of floral wire to the back. And I'm going to glue and wire the stem to the back to make sure it holds. Okay, and you'll also need a hot glue gun and some hot glue sticks. Okay, so I've already glued our 2 pieces of styrofoam together, and I've glued it to the tray. And so what I'm going to do now is just kind of draw out the center where our cross is going to be. I'm just going to stick that in there for this second. And I'm just going to draw a circle around here. It won't sit up quite this high, but I just want to make sure that I leave space to push it down in there, okay? And so what we're going to do to start is we're going to add our greenery. And I'm just going to start by just pushing these in. And I want them to be as close as possible to the actual styrofoam. So I'm pushing them in as much as I can. And I'm just going to keep adding those as we go around. Pushing them in as far as they'll go into the foam to make sure that we get the base of this styrofoam covered. These leaves don't have a really strong stem, so you might want to use another stem to poke a hole and then just push them in. And if you're worried that they're not going to stay, you can always add some glue to make them stay. Make sure that they hold. So stick those in. And this one I'm going to shorten the stem a little bit. And so I'm just going to keep going around, adding leaves all the way around the base, and then I'll do a second row, and then come in at the top and do those. So I'm going to work on this, and then I'll come back and show you when I get to the second row. Okay, so now we have the bottom with all the greenery. So now we're going to move up to the second row. And we just want to make sure that all of the white is covered by the greenery. So I'm just going to continue going around and adding greenery and filling this in and just going a second row. And I may even do a third row. I'm just going to try to kind of cover this up, all the greenery up. I mean, all this white up. And so you just want to keep going around until you have the whole thing covered. And again, this is going to take a lot of leaves, but this is why I never throw any of my greenery away. I always save everything from the plant or the bush that I buy so that I can use it for other projects, because you never know when you're going to need some leaves. So we're just going to continue to go around covering place. Some of the stems on these leaves are long, and some of them are short. So the ones that are too long, I'm just trimming those off because it just makes it easier to put them into the styrofoam if they're not quite so long. And so if you see what I'm doing here, is I'm really just trying to cover all of the foam so that when you're looking at it from the side, you're not going to see the styrofoam. Okay, so I'm going to continue to go around, and once I get all the sides done, then I'm going to start putting them on the top and just moving inward with those. And then I'll also be using some different types of leaves on the top to just give it a little variety. Okay, so I've got all of the sides covered. So now we're just going to continue to go around the edges, filling in, putting in the flowers, the leaves as we go. And when I'm poking the holes in now, I'm really going at an angle into the foam so that when the leaves go in, they're at a slight angle, so they hang over the edges. Okay, and so we're going to work our way in now. Going in a second row. So I'm going to go in and go in between the ones that are already there and put a leaf in. So here I have 2 leaves. And so the next leaf I'm going to put in is going to go right there in between those. And what I'm doing is these have a little hook on them right there, and I'm trimming that piece off so that when it goes in, it sits like this at an angle. Okay, so I've got 2 leaves here, and I'm going to go in the middle with those 2 leaves and just place this one in there. Now this row, I'm going into the next row, and I'm going to angle these up a little more so that they stand up. It's all about the angle of the hole that you're punching into the styrofoam. So you want to make sure that that angle allows your leaves to stand up. What I've done is worked starting with the leaves pointing down, coming out, and then more straight out. And as I worked my way to the center of the foam, I'm pointing them more upwards. Okay. And so what I'm doing now is I'm taking some of these smaller leaves. These just came off of some flowers that I used before. And they have this little plastic, I don't know if you can see that. They have this little plastic piece right here on the end, and I'm just using that to stick it into the foam. And basically my goal is to cover up as much of the foam as possible with greenery, and then I'm going to go back and start adding the flowers in. Some of these they don't have the little centerpiece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gather these together, put a little glue here, and then just stick it where I want it. Just hold that for a second and let the glue set. So I've got one more that's dark color, and then I'm going to start adding some of these lighter colored ones in throughout the arrangement. Okay, stick that one right there. And so now pretty much our entire foam is covered. I did leave the center open so that I can put my cross in. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add the cross in. And I want to just kind of figure out how tall I want the cross to be. And I want it to nestle in here a little bit, but so I'm going to cut off a little of the bottom of my stem. And I did go ahead and wire, you can see that. I wired it right here. And then I added some hot glue as well to hold that on. So I'm just going to stick it in here and see the fit and how that works. Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit shorter. Let me pull it back out, trim it a little more. And then we're going to go right back into the center. There. Okay. And I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put a little bit of glue down in there to just hold that in place because it's wiggling around just a little bit. So we'll let that set. And then we will start adding our flowers. Okay, I may have to, I'm going to put a flower right here in the very front to kind of stabilize that cross too. Okay, so the first flowers we're going to put in are some roses. And I'm just going to trim these about 3 inches long. And I'm going to stick this first one right here in front of our cross. And that gives it a little bit of stability, okay? And I'm going to use 3 roses all together. And that stem that I just cut off, I'm going to pull those leaves out, stick them in my basket. So let's cut 2 more roses. And I'm looking at this on camera to see kind of where I want to put these roses. So I'm going to put one right here, a little bit lower than this first one. And then we'll cut one more. And we're going to add it to this other side. Okay, so there's our 3 roses. I'm going to put one more on the back, right behind our cross. So still wanting to wiggle around a little bit. If you used a different figurine, that probably wouldn't be the case because it would sit flat. And I really looked for a cross that had a stand. Couldn't find one. So, okay. So there's the beginning. And again, I'm going to go ahead and pull my leaves off. So use those somewhere else. So we have 1 rose left. Now I'm going to take these Alströmerias. And I'm just going to put these around in the front. Just a few of them. I'm not going to use very many. And I'm going to cut the stem short, just like I did on the roses. And then just place them in here. Probably needs to be a little bit shorter. Because I want them to really just kind of sit down in there. So that's what that looks like. And I'm probably going to put 2 more of those in there as well. I'll turn this around so I can see them and I'll show you. I'm going to go on the other side of the other side rows. Just stick this in. And then do one more. Probably a single one. Some of them were singles and some of them were doubles. So I'm going to use a single one. And I'll stick it right in the front. Okay. Lift it up so you can see. That cross is really wobbly. So there's the 3 on there. Okay, and so now we're going to work with these the delphiniums. We're going to take the tag off. So what I want is for these to come up beside the cross. See how tall that is? It's way taller than our cross. So I'm going to cut these down. And to do that, I'm going to cut some of the flowers off the stem to make it shorter, like this. So I'm just going to use these wire cutters, and I'm just going to snip these flowers off. And of course, we'll save these and use them for another project. Snip all of them off. And there are leaves on here as well. I'll take these off too. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the stem on this. And this is really thick, so it might be a little more difficult to cut. Okay, so now this is what we have. It's just a much shorter version. And I'm going to take it and stick it right behind this, right behind the cross at an angle. Okay, so there's this one. Now I'm going to put another one on this side that is a little bit shorter. So I'm going to go up and cut more of these stems off on this one than I did on the other one. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bend this one a little bit. I lost a flower. Okay. So then we'll stick this one coming out right there. Okay, and now we've got one more. We're going to put it on the other side. And I want it to be about the same height as this one. So we'll cut everything from here down. This is just simple to do with your, you could probably cut these off with scissors, but wire cutters work just fine. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and bend this one as well. And then I'm going to stick it on this side, coming out behind the cross. Okay. All right, so what I can do now is I want to go in and add just some of this lighter green around the roses. And I'm just going to poke them in like that. And the lighter color just gives it a little more depth to the arrangement. Put one over here on this side. And then you just really want to kind of look around your arrangement. Make sure that everything is how you like it. And because these are silk flowers and leaves, you can always just adjust them, move them where you want them. and fluff the petals however you like them. And like these, we bent to make them the shape that we wanted. Just thinking I might want to put some of these variegated leaves in there. These were left over from another project, so I'm just going to cut a couple of these off, and let's just see what it looks like. And again, I'm going to look at the camera and just kind of stick it in here temporary and see how I like it. I have a few of these, so we can put them in a couple of different places. Yeah, I think I like the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in. I'm just reaching in there to get to the foam. Pushing that leaf in. I may need help of a stick. Okay. These, sometimes the flowers pop off, but you can just stick them right back on. And this leaf doesn't want to cooperate, so I'm going to put a little glue on it, stick it where I want it, and then it'll just catch in there on some of those other leaves. I'm going to do the same with this one. Just put a little glue on the stem, and then we're just going to poke it in where we want it. Let's see, got a couple more of those that I can use. Put one here by the cross. Maybe, yeah. Okay. So this is what it looks like with the variegated leaves in there. This is our completed Easter centerpiece. Okay. And I can set this on a table, or I can use it. It's probably going to go on top of my china cabinet for now. So if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to our channel. We are trying to reach a goal of 100 subscribers. So it'd really help us out if you'd subscribe. And remember to click the bell. That will give you notifications for all of our future videos when we upload videos, so you won't miss out on any of the creations that we make. Thank you for joining us today. Let me know if you try this on your own, or if you use a different centerpiece in yours. I'd love to see what you do as well. All right, thanks, and I'll see you again.